Hi, guys. I am getting set up. I'm going to give people a couple moments. See, it always does that. Just trying to make sure everyone is in and ready. I'm going to do a little bit more taking some notes. And as you guys all come in, pop in, say hi, and we'll get to doing some live chatting. Hello, whoever's joined us. You're welcome to jump in and say hi. And like I said, I'll give it a minute or two before I just start chatting about some stuff. I was taking notes and my pencil point just fell out. I guess I'm not taking any more notes, am I? Hello, Mr. Matt. How are you today? This is the pencil I was taking notes with. Can you see how much good this pencil is going to do me now? Yeah. Somewhere on the floor is the actual lead I need, but that's okay. So let's try that. Yeah, it's going to be pathetic, but at least if I need to scribble something, I can. Excellent. So we will be chatting in just a moment. I know there's at least one other person that said they were going to be jumping in this evening. So just making sure everyone's here. And we'll go from there. All right, well, let's... 15 seconds. We're going to get... somebody else is here. Woo! Whoever else has joined us, please come in and say hi. I usually am doing these every week. And of course, as some of you know, with the Renaissance Festival, my schedule has been kind of not my own. Normally, I would do these on a weekend. I don't have free weekends now. So I thought I would try to grab this in on Wednesdays. And hopefully Wednesdays works for the random audience at large. And we can keep these up during the festival season before I can switch back. So hi. Here we are talking about the world of Orlando. Orlando pretty much lucked out and did not get the hurricane. They got a couple bands of rain last night. The parks closed early. They closed... Originally, they were all closing between 2 and 3. And then Epcot made an announcement they were going to stay open till 7. And then everything else closed after that. And today, they were open regular hours. Everything was normal. So they prepared for the worst and got very, very little. And that's terrific. You know, hopefully other parts of the country will be equally lucky because the Bahamas were not. Good evening, Mr. Drew. Welcome. So we are going to start. Whoever else has joined us, please come in and say hi. We're going to start talking about some of the latest, greatest of things that were going on. Like I said, the hurricane ended up being a lot of preparation with not a whole lot of anything else after that. I mean, some of the other vloggers that I watch and I talk to, where they were walking in the parks and they were wrapping every lantern and map and everything loose you could find, tying everything down so there were no problems. But the event itself really was an overnight heavy-winded rainstorm, nothing major, so we're glad for that. So I'm going to be a little bit freeform about this. I've got some topics that I know are the newest, latest, greatest, specifically at Disney, and a little bit we can talk about with Universal. And then if you have any questions about any of these, just throw them on out. Let me know what things you want to find out about or what things you're curious about, and I'll see what I know of that information. Or worst case, tell you where you need to look if I can't help you. This is a slightly new setup. The stuff is mostly the same. I've changed what was holding my computer at a decent enough angle, and my bangs are way too long. I think I need to do something about that. This is not a good look. Okay. So at any point, like I said, jump in with any questions, any thoughts, and you will see me looking off to an odd side for stuff. What do we got here? You mentioned Food and Wine, yes, and I will be... Oh, okay, so you've never heard anything about Food and Wine. Okay, well, Epcot is generally because I was going to talk about Food and Wine. That's on the list that I wrote before the pencil broke. Oh, great. Even that piece I took out... Again. Bleh. Pencil. Bad pencil. No more notes for Michelle. So Food and Wine. What they do, it's starting August 29th. It opened the same day as Galaxy's Edge through, I believe it's November 2nd or November 8th this year. It's a longer period. It is a food festival, basically. There are kiosks that are put up all around the World Showcase and in some of Future World. And they each little booth represents a country. And you can actually go online to things like the Disney Food blog or sometimes to the Disney site itself, and they will tell you what each kiosk has. They do have a decent number of gluten-free options, not a ton, but enough that I could eat, similar to what, Drew, you saw during the holiday, where there were a few things. There's actually more during Food and Wine, but they'll have more countries. There's a Hawaii booth. There's an Ireland booth. There's a Belgium booth, I think. There's a Polish booth. There's a Greek booth. There's, all of these different other additional country-themed foods. And then the kiosks pop up and you walk up the way we did. You order at one spot and then you go get your food at the other side. There are beverages, etc. There are also in the front area before World Showcase are a bunch of really interesting food-themed concepts. They also will do classes. One of my friends went there during Food and Wine last year and went to a class on bourbon and went to a class on wine. And some of the top chefs that you'll see throughout the country or the world will actually sometimes come in and do cooking classes. It changes every year, but it's a big food extravaganza. I have never been able to make it, which sucks. But I have been looking at everyone else's videos and seeing what things tend to be the, oh my God, you must tries. The things that I'm seeing are the Ireland has a chocolate whiskey pudding. It's a chocolate pudding. Basically, pudding for them is a cake. It's like a molten lava cake covered in a cream sweet whiskey sauce that looks amazing. Hello, Phil, who pardon me, let me not do it that way. I was Mickey and Friends when she looks so young. They all be brushing too. I know, it's amazing. Mickey should be like, crotchety old man and wrinkly. And no, just a happy little mouse. In fact, if he was a mouse, he'd have been dead probably about 90 something years now, or 85 years. I don't know exactly how long mice live. But yeah, I should be so lucky not to have joint pain. The typical costs for the classes. She said that the class is usually around like $50, $30 to $50 a person, hour long, sometimes a little bit longer. They usually have tastings involved in them as well. And you pre-register for those online. Like when you're making your regular food reservations to go stay at a restaurant, you can go online once Food and Wine stuff starts opening and you can start booking those reservations and they go quickly. So, and the days change, so you never know exactly what you're going to get and why. So be prepared for that. Okay, so yeah, so if Mickey just turned 90, he would have been dead for 88 years. Really good rejuvenation program. I like it. It's gonna work. Okay, so Food and Wine. Some of the things I've seen, like I said, the chocolate pudding with whiskey sauce looked really good. There's a Kahlua pork slider in Hawaii that I've seen good things about. There's a raclette, I believe they call it. They basically take a large block of cheese, put it under heat, really high heat, scoop it, put it on a plate, and with bread. Most of the people who've gotten it have complained that the bread was not toasted, which I think would make more sense. You also have to eat it really quickly because if it goes away from the heat, it starts to congeal and it's not nearly as exciting. And of course, all of them are taking pictures of the food before they eat it. So by the time they actually go to eat it, it probably sucks. So, oh well, they haven't been happy for it. What is your Disney fact, Phil? Let's find out about that. And no, do not lose your magic band. But if you do lose your magic band, Drew, they will replace it for you. And we are very happy about that. It doesn't have your name on it on the inside anymore, but that's okay. So other things about Food and Wine. Yeah, there's also a nitro frozen chocolate truffle that's supposed to be really popular. Although some of the people I was watching stuff from today said they liked the chocolate whiskey pudding more. There's the other one that's a big controversy this year is a deconstructed ramen or a cold ramen. It's a cold ramen noodle with this foam on the top that's made out of egg whites covered in soy sauce, like a drizzle of soy sauce. So it's bizarrely deconstructed. A lot of people have had problems with it. Others seem to be okay with it. It would be interesting to try. If it was safe for me, it isn't. So I couldn't really tell you much more about that. what if you have other questions about Food and Wine, other thoughts about that we can talk about? Like I said, it does go through November 2nd. I am tossing and turning in my head the idea of running in for a quick weekend to do a day of Food and Wine and then come home immediately, trying to figure out if the flights would be worth it, because the flights are not cheap, but I really want to do it. I like and maybe do 1 night or 2 nights on property, and it's kind of expensive to do by yourself, but it is what it is. So I don't, it would be like the weekend after festival ends or the one beyond that. It would be lovely to do. Are the classes held on the street? No, they're in an indoor setting. They're a sit down. There are some of the pavilions. It used to be the pavilion where they're now doing the play pavilion. And if you are not familiar with what's happening with Epcot and D23 stuff, well, pre D23 even, but they talk more about it at D23. They are pretty much decimating Future World the way we knew it, and it is now going to become 4 sub worlds or sub areas. The natural world. There's going to be a 3-level pavilion in the center, beyond the ball. The fountain's gone, or is going to be gone, and they are building a walk through water type experience that is going to be Moana themed. And then on the far side, you've got the Mission Space, the Mission, the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, and they gave the name of it. Mission Cruise. I'll have to look that up, but they actually came out with the name for that as well, which I think is going to be pretty terrific. But so they have pavilions, and you would go in, and it's a sit down class. You didn't do the animation. It's the same way when they do the animation classes. You're inside a building, and because they're giving alcohol tastings, it has to be controlled. Like I said, it's a per ticket and a per price, per seat price, and limited space. But they don't have, that I know of, they don't do little pop-up booths. Now the TV show, The Chew, usually does a week or a few days there, and they do the show kind of half live there, and they'll do some inside and outside, and they've had a food booth there as well. And Flower and Garden in the spring now does something similar. It's still more theme based on nature and gardens and bees and butterflies and growing, but it does adjust. Yeah, the permanent buildings. So it changes. Drew, I don't know if you can see what I was looking at, but if you can address that for me, that would be terrific. So Food and Wine is a pretty exciting thing, and there are people that wait all year round, and they're so excited, and they want to jump in and deal with that. It's pretty fabulous. All right, Phil. The original Snow White Castle is located in the Crinian Mountain on the island of Cyprus. It is called St. Hilarion and contains a secret room where they say it takes you to paradise if found. I'm guessing that people have not found this yet, though. That's kind of cool. See, so Snow White's castle, because Sleeping Beauty's castle was based off of Crazy Ludwig, and Cinderella's honestly looks a lot like Crazy Ludwig's as well from the other side. But I did not know that. That's very cool. I will have to look up the pictures of that and see what that looks like. Thank you, Phil. That's very neat. So do people have any other questions about Food and Wine? Just so I can make sure that that's taken care of. Post your questions for Food and Wine if you would like to. And then we'll go from there. So the next thing that I thought I would talk about are some of the changes with the Not So Scary Halloween Party. So I'll let you guys talk about Seven Door, the thing. I'm assuming, Phil, you're talking about from the movie. So clarify that for me if you have that moment. So Not So Scary Halloween Party. Now, normally you pay a flat rate for one night. And then if you want to go more than one night, you have to pay for the event each time. They have just started offering, and this is great for people who live locally, a sort of seasons pass. You pay $300, but it allows you to go into every single Not So Scary Halloween Party. So one day you could go and do the food. One day you could go and do just the parade and the fireworks. One day you could do the rides. One of the things I thought that was kind of cool was Drew, can you address that for me? The not so scary. They do the whole party, and when you the villains party, which I did with some of the other people I went with, they have characters that jump in that do in the Pirates of the Caribbean, so you can interact with people. And they had two people on the outside, and then a guy dressed as Barbossa on the inside, and that was lovely, and that was fine. However, the one I just saw recently had more people in the ride itself and interacting with each other and interacting with you rather than being sort of on the outside. To be completely frank, it really felt like they've really started to appreciate the interactive nature of the Renfest, and including that in stuff. Cyprus is kind of fabulous. I have not been to Cyprus, Phil, but that does sound kind of amazing. Commendaria. Sounds yummy. Is that a red wine or a white, or do you know what type of, or sweet versus dry? How dry? I'd just be curious, because I'm familiar more with Italian wines, French wines, German wines, but not necessarily with Greek wines. So not so scary. So this All Pass has been very helpful for people because a lot of people are really enjoying it. Oh, it's a port. Oh, okay. If my pencil was working, I would write this down, but I will be very curious to try that because that sounds really amazing. I like ports a lot. Drier ports as well as sweet ports. Tawny port with chocolate, one of the most amazing things in the world. Highly recommend it. The more words before tawny, even better. It's like sherry. Okay, yeah, sherry. Yeah, sherry's Madeiras, things like that. Very yummy. Okay, so back to the Disney conversation. So we've got. Sort of do people have questions about Not So Scary? It is the one time that adults can come in costume. There are still limitations. You cannot wear a full face mask. You cannot interact with people as if you work there. Hey, anybody in the Maryland Ren Fair find that conversation familiar lately? Yeah, there are certain rules so that it is very clear you do not work and you are not that character, because it would be inappropriate to have someone where looking like they work there, guzzling a beer in a plastic cup. Yeah, just my standard opinion there. It does sound really good. Yeah, so I'm coming there. I'm going to look that up. Thank you very much for that, Phil. So Not So Scary is their answer to the Halloween party. It starts in August, so when it's boiling hot, people are coming in costume. You do not have to come in costume, but some people do go all out. And there are places where you can do trick-or-treating. If you have allergies like myself, you get a different colored bag and they'll give you little tokens, which you then exchange later in the day for candy that you want. It's pretty yummy. Yeah, I know. That's the whole from this past week. So, do people have questions about Food and Wine? And if you don't, I can go on to a different topic. Lindt chocolate is okay, Sean. I have a weakness for this. There's a brand called Kron, Kron. You can order them online. They have places in New York, in DC, in where's the other one? There's another one in this country, but there are a couple up throughout the country. The Budapest cream truffle that they offer is a truffled cream covered in dark chocolate, dusted in straight cocoa. It's incredible, and it is so fresh. You have to keep it in the freezer or refrigerator, or they will spoil. So if you don't eat the entire pound box or something prior to that, you really do need to make sure to deal with that. So I do highly recommend that. Yeah, so I would definitely say go with that one. It's tremendous if you're doing tawny port. Okay, so we have talked about Food and Wine. We've talked about Not So Scary. Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is pretty fabulous. Galaxy's Edge is just opened. I have not physically been there. I've been seeing everybody's footage and then some. I've seen the maps. I have a couple friends who have been. One of which kind of was hoping she would be jumping on tonight, but hey, what can you do? It all works out well. Otherwise, Has anyone here been looking to actually schedule or plan to go to Galaxy's Edge? Have you already made reservations, or are you looking at it for any specific reason? Drop a comment in, let me know. I am still trying to find out what is gluten-free and safe there. I believe the blue milk and the green milk they are unusual. The difference between California and our side of the world is the blue milk and green milk. Here you can also get it with booze, whereas the other side you can't. Crown Shop in New York. Okay. Oh, you're in Ireland. Oh, goodness, you're up late for Ireland, or are you up really, really, really early? Well, they do ship. I don't know. You would have to pay a lot to get them expedited over, but yeah, they are pretty tremendous. But if you're over in England, in Ireland, you've got better chocolate there. I mean, you could even get something from the Netherlands or from Brussels, from Bruges, that are so much better than you can get here. There was a chocolate shop in Amsterdam called Puccina's Bombini that I would highly recommend. I don't recommend the chocolate rolled in, what do you call it, in peppercorns. That was pretty horrible. And the chocolate with tea in it was very bizarre. I don't recommend that. So see what, you can try that if that's something that you can get over in Ireland. It is kind of fabulous. So it's all good. Not so scary. So Galaxy's Edge. So they, like I said, they do the blue milk, they do the green milk, and they do the green milk with tequila. They do the blue milk with rum. And generally, from what I've been told, the alcohol makes them taste better. But unfortunately, as soon as they get better, if you don't like the type of milk, like the people who don't like the green milk with the tequila, it doesn't help. If you don't like the blue milk and they add the rum, it doesn't help. But people have generally said they like them, and they serve them in a different shaped cups, so you know which is which. The next ride that's going to be opening for Galaxy's Edge is going to be the Rise of the Resistance, which opens in Florida first. It's going to be opening here before it's going to be opening out in California. Rumor has it that there was a problem with the magnetization that they were setting in the floors, and they had to pull up and redo there. So they'll go from there. Oh, hi, Mr. Barlow. Thank you very much, and I hope you are doing well as well. Yeah, the masks are still hanging up there. I actually perform in one of them. I had to repair it this week, so it's very similar to this one, but not this one. But I perform in those in the Renaissance Festival, and I do shows and entertainment with those, which are kind of fun. Mark Hamill joked that it's infinitely better than his first. Did he say what was in his first blue milk, Drew? I'd be very curious about that. Oh, I'm so sorry you can't find sleep. That's kind of miserable. Well, I will become very boring just to lull you to sleep. No, hopefully not. But at least I can be entertaining in the meantime. So if you guys have questions about Disney stuff, and it doesn't have to be the latest, greatest things, for those of you who are new here, I am not paid for Disney. I'm actually not getting paid anything for this channel. I don't have enough subscribers. I am here sharing the love that I have for it and my obsessive love of planning and plotting, which these days for Disney you need to do. I also have been to Universal quite a bit and can answer questions about that. So they're really, really fun. They're exciting and interesting things that inspire me. So I've been going to Disney and Universal every year for the last 11 years for Christmas, that whole week. So the week that everyone else says, oh my God, stay the heck away, that's the week that I go. So, oops. And well, that's funny. I just put something else on my page, which is useless. There we go. There we go. I think we're having a little trolling issue, and it very likely is the same person just coming in with different accounts. So we're getting that dealt with. Ignore him, Mr. Barlow. Enjoy the conversation for the conversation. So, so if you guys have questions, thoughts about any of the Disney stuff, what I can answer, and this is all pretty much the East Coast. I have been to Disneyland, and I can talk about Disneyland and California Adventure, not as well, but I can talk about them. I am not really savvy on the Universal stuff over in Hollywood. All I've seen is video on that. I've not been able to visit any of that, so it's all good. What are your favorite rides at Disney? Just curious. What are the rides that you love going on? Or if you've never been, what's the ride you've always heard about that's, if you got to the park and there were no lines, what's the first thing you would want to jump into? Just curious what things you guys like. Oh, really? Okay. Do you go to amusement parks, Sean, at all? I know there's a couple out there. There's a Adam Hatton is a vlogger, wonderful vlogger who used to work for Disney in the International Exchange Program, and he's got really good advice. And he actually will visit different places out in your neck of the woods, so Britain more, or England versus Ireland. But he's got some great stuff there. Well, I was actually specifically looking at Orlando, Drew, and which ones you were curious about there. Speed coasters. Okay. So if you really, really like speed, the fastest ride in all of the Disney rides is Test Track. It goes up to 65 miles per hour, which is kind of cool. You're basically, originally the ride was set up like you were a test track dummy, which if you ever remember those like gray faced ones, the crash dummies, and they would do a thing with that, which was pretty fun. You're a Haunted Mansion nerd, yeah. And I have a soft spot for Haunted Mansion, although I will admit sometimes I want to spend more time in the queue than riding the ride. It still creeps me out. I'm like a grown person, and there are still scenes in there that creep me the heck out. And then other scenes that make you laugh, which when you find out afterwards that it was designed by two different people, one who was going for the scare factor and one who just was goofy and had a quirky sense of humor, it all makes sense. That was from Shaggy's. Yeah. In terms of coasters that are pretty crazy, you've got things like, by the way, this is the Sammy sighting. She likes to come in and visit. Rock and Roller Coaster that spins and goes upside down. I'm really interested and terrified about the new Guardians of the Galaxy one that's going to be open for the 50th anniversary, because it's the first roller coaster. Thank you, Sammy. It's the first roller coaster that's going to shoot you out of the, the first lift. What's the term they use? When they shoot you out initially, it's going to be backwards. Normally you're like clicking up the hill, or they shoot you out of like in the Hulk, they shoot you out immediately. And if you like rough rides, then like Speed Junkie, like you were saying, that was Mr. Barlow. Yes. You want to go to Universal. You absolutely want to go to Universal. All of those rides are faster, rougher, spin you upside down more, Rip Roar and Rocket. You get in the car. If this is the car, then this is you. And it goes literally straight up while you're looking up to the heavens. And then I think the angle you come down at is it's probably about that. You come down pretty sharp, pretty fast, and then you start doing the roller coaster. There is no way I will be able to get on that one. It's just, no, can't do it. But other people seem to really, really love it. Rise of the Resistance is going to have a drop area. I know, but it's not, well, it's going to have a drop that's going to be less intense than that. And, even what the heck is the Hagrid ride that just came is it's a roller coaster that in the middle has a 17-foot drop. They do have a drop in this one, but it's basically four different ride experiences melded into one. A couple of the vloggers that I follow who are more savvy enough that they get into some of the media have gone in and seen a sample of it. They weren't allowed to film anything, but they came out going, "Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Oh my God, this is so cool." So it should be kind of fabulous. I am very much looking forward to it. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm hoping that my guess, Hagrid is a 17-foot drop. My guess is this is, even if it's a 5-foot drop or a 10-foot drop, the concept is that while you are escaping from the First Order ship, that you go into an escape pod and the escape pod drops before it gets you out of there. So it's as if you were going into space. I'm guessing it's not going to be as big as what it may feel like. And I'm very excited about that. Yeah. So Bridge of the Ship is caverns. Yeah, and I think what they saw is when you come out of that and you saw the hundreds of animatronic stormtroopers that are there, and it just sounds like it is a tremendous experience. I am very, very excited to see how all of that's going to go. I'm very, very excited about that. What do we got here? So yeah, so that's opening on December 5th, and I will be there when it is open. So I'm within like the first couple weeks after that. So I'm very much excited and expecting and hoping that that's going to happen, that I'll be able to see that. I don't know if I think Sean, you're still here, and Mr. Barlow, you are still here. So, all right. So out where you are, since you're not around this area, Mr. Barlow and Sean. I'm assuming it's Sean. I may be mangling it badly because I see the little mark on it, and I'm hoping that's mark on it because everything's reversed on my screen right now. But where you are, what are your favorite roller coasters, or rides, or amusement park experiences, or are there amusement parks that you guys go to? I'd just be curious what's out there. So Shaggy mentioned Small World as one of his favorites. And I like to go on that because it is so classic, because it is really cool. And I like the one in Disneyland more than I like the one in Disney World, mostly because they take some of their IP and drop those figures throughout based in the country where those stories are from, which I thought is a lovely idea. And they don't do it out here, which is sad. But I always have that little bit of fear every time I get on it, because you end up getting stuck on there a lot. It's gotten backed up or jammed more than once when I've been on it. The worst experience I had on that ride, for those of you who have done it, there are rooms. They're all playing versions of It's a Small World After All, the awful, horrible earworm that you will never get out of your head until you can find something else to get rid of it. And as you get stuck as you go between the rooms, the music will change slightly, and they're different tracks. They may not be exactly synced, and each room represents a continent in the entire world. So we're in the room that represents Africa, the Congo. So it's no words in this room, but they're still playing the music, and it's got a drum rhythm under it. And you get to the end of the room, and the next room is the big room where everyone's wearing white, and it's all the countries together, and isn't this lovely, blah, blah, blah. So you're sitting in there, and that's Lyric World. So we're getting to the end of the drum world, and we're about to enter the Lyric World, and the boat stops in the archway. And it starts rocking. I have motion sickness. And I hear drums on this side, and I hear music on that side. I had to lie down so I didn't throw up in the boat. That was not fun. Other times I've been stuck on there, getting the earworm in your head, you just have to find a way to make yourself sane, but it's not the worst of anything. What do we got here? Avatar Flight of Passage, yes, is absolutely spectacular. Actually, a Flight of Passage does physically move. One of the vloggers I got, he left his camera on in the secure area, and then we realized the entire platform does go up and down. You're not moving forward and back, but the entire platform does jump up and down. So it is disturbingly moving, but it's brilliant. It is, again, without motion sickness. If I can just watch it on a stable location, I could watch the whole thing. Because of the movement, I have to keep closing my eyes on and off, but it's amazing. They really upped their game. It is, as I like to call it, Soarin', which is another ride of theirs on steroids. But it is absolutely beautiful. Hi, Patrick. The Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is in Disneyland, not Disney World. And I love going on it in Disneyland, because where else in the world do you go on a kids' amusement park ride where the character that you're following the story of is a partier, goes into a bar, gets drunk, gets behind the wheel, crashes, dies, and goes to hell? And it's a kids' ride. Yay! This makes me laugh uncontrollably every time I think about it. Just I love it to death. So yeah, the last time I was in Disneyland, it was there. Disney World, it is no longer there. However, if you go to the Haunted Mansion and you go into the graveyard, they have a, all the regular graveyard, and then they have an animal graveyard. And up in the back corner, you will see Mr. Toad. It makes me very happy. He's just a little brass Mr. Toad up there. All right, I have lost some of the conversation here, so let me see where I was doing. Small World, we talked about Avatar. Seem very clear on the very studs of the inner workings. Have you been going? Yes, sorry. No problem, Sean. I have been, and I don't know if Drew responded to you. Okay. I have been going every Christmas for the last 12 years, that Christmas to New Year's week. I also have been going a few more times out of the year, and I've been prior to those 12 years in a row. I'd gone as a kid when I was 7, which is quite a long time ago. I went for my senior high school trip. I went again when my company was doing a meeting in 2002. And then, like I said, the last 12 years, I've been going every year. And I don't always go to Universal, but I always go to Disney. On most years, I do go to Universal, but generally it's Disney. And the last couple years, I've done additional trips into Disney, and I'm trying to go back again. I also fill a lot of my time while I'm working, watching some of the other vloggers. There are some really wonderful ones out, like Disney Food Blog, which will tell you A, about the foods and restaurants, but B, about other things going on in the parks. For those of you who are in Britain, Adam Hatton is wonderful because he travels the way you do, so he would be able to explain some of that kind of stuff. Trying to think, Tim Tracker is probably one of the more famous ones, which I didn't realize when I started watching him. This Orlando Life, who's not doing a whole lot right now, but are hysterically funny, and one of them is a Brit. They're wonderful to watch, and they're great entertainment, as well as being incredibly informative. And then I have other friends who are very much in the know, and we're always sharing news. Shaggy, who's here right now, he's another one who's very much follows and knows stuff that's going on. So I love being able to share what I do know. The other vlogs, if you still can't sleep and want something to fill your time, I do have 2 of the trips that I took in the last couple of years. You will see Drew, who has been talking over here, in one of them, and then you will see you'll see some other people I've traveled with, or the live chats. I generally will do themes about how to plan trips for different people, different types of people, or what they're interested in. All right. It's gone from Florida. Thanks for that. Nice to know more. The Snow White ride freaked me out as a kid. The Snow White ride still is a little scary. I mean, the original one's still over in Disneyland as well. It's a little terrifying. Snow White as a kid. Now it's just 7 Dwarfs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the things they did do when they took out Snow White is they put some of the older animatronics into the other, which I thought was quite lovely. The Carousel of Progress is really good if I need to get off my feet for 20 minutes and sleep. Or if it's unbearably hot and you need to cool off. They are supposedly talking about potentially updating that last scene. It would be lovely. I don't know that it's going to happen, but it would be lovely if it did. If you have never, Sean, you were asking where's a good place for a first-timer. It depends on what your interests are. If you want to get the classic Disney experience, you want to do Magic Kingdom. There are 4 parks, 2 water parks, and the resorts themselves are incredible experiences. If you can afford it, and if you're coming from England, you will probably be able to. While for me, it can be incredibly expensive to go, people coming in from England, go with your travel agents. There's no additional fees to do it. You can get incredible deals at some of the best of the resorts coming out to here. I have friends who, like, for me, to stay one night at Animal Kingdom Lodge could be anywhere from $400 to $800 a night. Whereas someone could get from England or, Great Britain would go and they would get a rate for like 3 weeks, and it equated to like $200 a night by the time they were done. It was exorbitantly different. So you guys can get some incredible deals, and I do recommend that. If you come here and you can only do one park and you've never done it before, yeah, you really kind of need to do Magic Kingdom to get the classic Disney experience. That's where you can meet Mickey in pretty much all the parks, but you meet the classic Mickey. Dumbo ride is there. Haunted Mansion is there. Pirates of the Caribbean, the Jungle Cruise, which is, if you like puns, is incredibly filled with puns. You've got, you will be getting the Tron roller coaster in a couple years, and that's going to be the most intense of the roller coasters they've had. But you've got Big Thunder Mountain, you've got a Flume ride and Splash Mountain, you know, and you could more than fill a day there, especially given what some lines are like. But it depends on, like, are you interested in animal? Yeah, see exactly what Drew was saying. Well, if you're looking for Guardians of the Galaxy, won't be open quite yet, but if you like countries and food and a little bit of history, as well as a couple, some smaller exciting rides, you want sort of the more intellectual experience. They have a ride where you can actually see the biosphere where they've been growing fruits and vegetables and stuff, and you learn about that. Or you can take a tour through the biosphere, which is kind of cool. They have an aquarium where you can go and see animals and experience all of that. That's pretty terrific. And that's all in Epcot in the front. And then in the back is a world showcase where it's a number of different countries. You get the food from the countries. The people working in the different countries are from those locations. They do a country exchange program. So these are young kids coming to experience what it's like to live in the United States for a little while as sort of an exchange program. It's quite lovely. And we have an Aggie sighting this time. She won't jump up into the camera, sadly, but the other cat has shown up. Hollywood Studios, yes. Hollywood Studios is Star Wars Land, is Toy Story Land, is your free fall drop ride, and is one of the roller coasters that goes upside down. There is Fantasmic, which I will. All right, they do Fantasmic on both the East and West Coast. I like the one over in Disneyland more than the one here. Mostly because when you go to the one here, you have to sit in the theater. You have to be blocked off from the rest of the park. You don't kind of get that same experience of being out and about. And the show is a little different. I just don't like it as much. It's okay. It's a good show. But I've been going to the park for 12 years in a row. I've been once. That should say something. Whereas, like, I will do anything I can if they're showing them to do the Star Wars fireworks that are also in that park, but you can't generally see both the way they time it. What do we got here? Disney Sim was really young. Epcot during its opening year. Wow, first time I went to Epcot was 85, so it wasn't quite opening, but it was young. I remember there was way back in the beginning, you could walk up to this room if you wanted to make a reservation, and you would stand in line, and then you would go up to a camera screen, and the person would show up on the TV in front of you, and you would have a conversation with this person on the TV, because that was new technology then. So that was their reservation system. That was the big excitement for that, which was kind of cool. Yeah, like Shaggy said, is how much time you have to do it. Travel is good to book through. Yeah, and I when I stay on property, I'll book through a travel agent, just because why not give somebody some money out of the experience, and but if I stay often in a timeshare, which is off property, although even doing that, I've started not renting a car and doing Ubers and Lyfts because it's just easier. This year I'm officially an annual pass holder I was an annual pass holder for Universal last time. I'm now an annual pass holder for Disney, for the Disney parks this year. And it's just Disney World. It doesn't travel to all the other parks. You have to get different ones for those. That is true. Universal, the Harry Potter experience is kind of amazing. They've just added Hagrid's. There is rumor that they're going to build a Ministry of Magic, but they have just announced that they're opening an entirely new third park. Nintendo World is going to be in there. They're having a hotel that, if you look at the concept art for it, is like built into the park the same way that in Tokyo Disney, you can stay literally overlooking the park. So, you are kind of inside in that experience, which is kind of special. Shaggy, you haven't been to Universal? Oh my God, no, you need to do. Okay, I don't know how you handle rougher rides, but oh my God, you need to do it. And if you go to the Raptor Encounter. Whatever you do, go to the Raptor Encounter. It's not a ride. It's a photo meet and greet. Go to the Raptor Encounter. You must, because evil, wonderful, funny. And I've shared that story on some of the other vlogs, and I've shared it on Facebook too when it happened. It's very fun. Yeah, Harry Potter's pretty fabulous. Shaggy, you need a multi-park pass to do. Yeah, it's a park to. They call it a park-to-park pass. You just need the 2-park pass. You don't. If you want to do the water park, you can add the 3rd park. But I've never done the water park. The water park rides are a little too rough for me, so I don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to time him out. If Drew, if you can do a block on that, that would just be easier. But it takes too much time to do it, and it's not worth it. There are much more interesting things to deal with. The Rivers of Light. Really? Okay. The Rivers of Light in Animal Kingdom. Shaggy, did you see the new version or the original version? Because they did a new version recently where they added IP from Lion King. And I've seen the original. I didn't see the new one. Let me clarify. There have been 3 versions. There was a version with live actors. They took the live actors out, and then they did a version with just the water screens. And then they did another version where the water screens now have IP from Lion King. They didn't do a whole lot for me. I haven't seen the Lion King version, other than like other people showing it. And I know any of those kind of live shows, video doesn't do it justice. You really do need to see them live. There's an energy about the actual live performance that you literally kinetically feel it in the air, and it makes a huge difference. So I absolutely recommend it. Okay. So you saw the newer version in April. Okay. I didn't get to see it this time. It's funny, every time I plan to try to go to the parks alone, and then next thing I know, I end up going with someone. So I've still yet to really do the parks alone, which is fine. I mean, everyone, I have fun with the people I go with. I like bringing in different people each time, just so it's fun because you get to see the parks through their eyes. Like I said, one of the trips you're going to see in the vlogs, you've got Drew. Another one, I've got Randy and Dory who went with me. And over the years, I've taken, like the year is coming up this year, I'm going to be taking the first underage person I'm going with. So it's a husband and wife and their 11-year-old by the time we go. And I've got some other friends who live locally, so there's some neat stuff happening there. The new floats are beautiful. Okay. I got lost somewhere in the conversation. The new floats are beautiful. I've subbed. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Sean, and maybe I'm missing something earlier in the conversation. I tried to post the video near the whole thing, but YouTube and Bookface have pegged me with copyright violations. Yeah, no, you can't do the whole thing. And actually, Drew, even the little bit I have from my last trip of video footage where I'm talking over it. I'm not, the music happens to be in the background, and I'm talking the whole time, and they tagged it saying, oh, this is a copyright thing, and we're not, if you ever make money on this, they have to have money. I'm like, I'm talking over the whole thing. It's a conversation. Crap. So we'll see what happens. The fire fountain was not working in April. Oh, yeah, the fire fountain. There, some nights it doesn't work and some nights it does, but it seems to be okay. Disney has a video online of the original version. That would be cool. I would love to see the original. And I mean, the version they actually had way before then, when they were doing the Jungle Book show, to me looked more interesting because they had the dancers and the live movement beforehand, which they took out. So it is what it is, I suppose. Subscribed. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for the new subscriber. I appreciate that. Right now, as I was explaining earlier, since I know you jumped in late, I perform at a Renaissance festival here in the United States. So I am, my weekends are gone. Normally I would be doing these on weekends, but timing is not going to be great for that right now. So as I come up with more information, if you don't see the time, it doesn't time out well for you on the live chats, go ahead and look at it later. Go ahead and check out the other videos on that stuff, on the Disney vlogs and the live chats and stuff. And there's a bunch of information. Like I said, a lot of the early live chats were, if I had a 7-day trip for a person, this is the type of trip I would set up. And if I had a 7-day trip for this person, this is the trip I would set up. So, yeah, that too. Oh, wait, let me try that. I don't know if I can see that. I don't know if I have just hidden him from just me or if nobody can see him. And if you guys can still see that person still popping up, let me know and I'll try to wipe him out again a different way. I think that I have to go through a different spot to do it. Oh, I didn't even see the dislikes. I don't really care. It is what it is. So, and at least, hey, they're watching. I think likes and dislikes all don't hurt. So makes an impression. I don't care. Okay, good. So I did get rid of him. Yay. Hopefully that did it. All right. So what questions do you guys, yeah, exactly. They're watching. So therefore it becomes even if it's bad, what do they say? I don't care if it's bad publicity. At least they're talking about me. So I might be moving down there. Oh, really? So is this a work thing, Shaggy, or is it like change your schedule and plans? I think you almost mentioned this last time. There are a couple other vloggers I follow. Michael K is another one I follow. He does daily vlogs, even if it's only 15 minutes every single day of the week, he has a new vlog out. And he was a distance person, and most of his vlogs were about this is this piece of information, and this is how you do this. And they were informational in his studio, and then he would do smaller blocks where he would do trips. Now he's down there, so almost everything is in the parks, and then once a week he does the out of the park stuff, which is kind of cool. Hurricane season, yeah. Well, I mean, and actually, I'm really tempted with the next holiday trip to do travel insurance, because I'm thinking everything's getting worse. While it might not be bad there, it might be harder for me to get home at the end of the trip just because of snow and weather and stuff. And it's just easier. It's just easier that way. So we'll see how it all goes. All right. I think we took care of him too. Being landed job. Very cool. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Then I'll be able to see you when I come visit. That would be lovely. There are a couple friends of mine. One of my dear friends from high school lives down there, and I see him. He actually works in Universal as one of the performers there. I have another friend who actually did fortune telling there for a while. Yeah, so and then other friends who live in different and assorted places. So it's very cool. It's very, very fun. So we are getting close to an hour, and I normally try to keep these to just an hour. So if you have questions, anything you would like me to answer, or if you're watching this after the fact and you would like a question that you want me to answer, please go ahead and drop that underneath. Or if you're looking, yeah, it's underneath if you're on the phone. Sometimes it's live, the chat you'll see over there. But go ahead and throw a comment, throw a question or a comment, something you'd like me to address. For right now, I think I'm going to be doing these on Wednesdays just because it's easier that way. And then post the festival, which will be the end of October, I'll start switching things back. I'm still waffling and debating about trying to do this trip at the end of October and doing a quick weekend run in, run out to go and see Food and Wine for myself. Drew, let me know. And we will see how that goes. But last questions, last thoughts, let me know so we can address it. It was a pleasure, Sean. I'm hoping things go better for you, that you can kind of chill out and sleep and relax. Like I said, if you don't, pretty much all my other vlogs are around an hour. So there you go. You got another hours of entertainment if you need. And I hope things get better for you. And I don't know if Mr. Barlow is still here, but hopefully he is as well, and that you had a lovely time. Shaggy, it was great talking to you, and good luck. Drew, it's good to see you. Matt, welcome. It was lovely to have you join us. And Patrick, I don't know if you're still here at all, but if you are, it was lovely to have you here as well. Like I said, if you've enjoyed the conversation tonight, please throw me a like. It does help move things up into visibility and get people to look at stuff. So, hey, maybe I'll actually break 100 subscribers one day. If not, thank you so much, guys. It has been an absolute pleasure. I can answer. Looking forward to Disney Orlando stories. Great. Well, I mean, yeah. And if there's something that you specifically want to know about, like, oh, I was really thinking about planning X, or I was really looking for something else, just let me know. Just let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help answer it out. Thank you all very much, guys. I hope you have a fabulous time. I hope that that if there's, like I said, if there's questions, throw them down. Let me know. For those of you who know me on Facebook, you can also drop the message there. Like this if you've enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much and have a great night. Bye.